Hey guys, Roku here back with more Darius content. The Your Shop section in the client is open, and also I've not done a video on Darius skins in a while, so this video is a review on all of Darius's currently released skins. All of them. We're going to talk about the mechanics, like how good they are to play. We're going to talk about the visuals, how cool it looks, or whether, like, the effects are nice or whatever. And I'm going to give, like, extra points to the skins when they have additional things like chromas or, a new voice filter or something cool like that, okay? So yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Now, the first skin we're going to look at is Default Darius. Now, a lot of people don't really like Default Darius too much, but honestly, I kind of think there's a charm in the simplicity of it. First off, visuals wise, I'm gonna admit the skin does not look that great. Darius has a toothpick legs in this skin too, which makes it weird when he walks. The colors aren't anything vibrant or anything special, and the only kind of coolish looking thing is his axe. So for the visuals, I'm giving him a 3 out of 10, which is not a great score. But the mechanics is where all this changes around, because mechanically this is one of the best Darius skins, which is, I guess it's not even a skin, right? And that all has to do with the shape of his axe. If you actually look at it, it's a nice little curve here, and it's got a straight direction, so when you're auto-attacking with it, you can really tell when the axe is going to hit the enemy and move really cleanly, right? And you can also do all of your combos quite effectively on this skin as well, There's no weird awkward parts about the abilities that make it so that you can't really, do your combos or whatever. So, this is basically the perfect skin to train on Darius, because he legit has, it's the second best mechanical skin, right? And it all has to do with how perfectly this axe is shaped, making it have one of the cleanest auto attacks, okay? Now, the abilities and stuff are just default, but, like I said, this is a great Darius skin if you're training him, so yeah. Mechanically, I give it a 9 out of 10. As for the extra points, in this category, I give a skin up to 5 extra points. And out of 5, I'm giving this classic Darius a 1, because all he has, all the extra stuff he has are just a bunch of chromas. And let's be honest, none of those chromas look that great. They're all just basically armory colors. The black and gold one looks kind of cool, but it has a brown cape, which just sucks. So yeah, overall, classic Darius gets 13 out of 25. Okay, let's move on to Lord Darius. Alright, the next skin we're going to take a look at is Lord Darius. This was the first skin that came out with Darius on his release, and honestly, it looks pretty cool, right? The armor is just so cool with the gold and stuff. It really feels like a royal version of Default Darius, and I like how they've beefed up his legs. He just looks a lot buffer, a lot stronger, and just looks like a better version of the Default Darius visuals wise. So yeah. Aside from the model though, there's basically nothing different about the skin. All the effects are the exact same. Everything is just the exact same. It's essentially just like a new model on Default Darius, which is why all the skin gets is a 5 out of 10. Now, mechanics is where the skin suffers, because the extra beefiness just adds bulk to Darius. It just makes him a bit beefier, so dodging things doesn't feel as, organic as Default Darius. And another gripe I have with this skin is that his axe is a bit of a worse shape. It's just an awkward shape, actually. So your auto attacks are going to be a bit less clean. The W's also feel a bit weird with this axe. So from a mechanical perspective, I'm giving the skin a 6 out of 10. Now, there's nothing extra about the skin, no chromas or anything. So for the extra points, it gets nothing. So overall, Lord Darius gets an 11 out of 25, which is not too great. It's a failing grade. Okay, let's go to Bioforge. Alright, so the next skin is a classic, and one of my favorites actually, Bioforge Darius. This skin looks awesome. Visually, the model is great. He just looks like a knight, with all this plated armor. He does look like a knight in his, default skin too, but here's he's fully covered. His axe holding hand is a bit weird, but you can kind of just ignore that and focus on this awesome, armor and stuff he has going on. the weird, you know, singed Bane from Batman tubes thing that he's got going is a little awkward, but that's fine. The skin also sports a ton of extra sound effects and visuals. You know, the icon is different, the effect for 5 stacks is different. There's a new R sound, there's a new ult sound, right? So let me just do them and have you hear them. So, like, it's clearly a great skin, and one of the, you know, the old but gold skins where you're just paying 900 RP, but you're getting a skin that's, like, still good to this day. As for visuals, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. As for mechanics, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, because this basically just has all the great parts of default Darius mechanically, except for the shape of this axe. This axe is such a weird shape. If they made this tail of it a bit shorter, it would be kind of better, but the axe kind of just makes the skin suffer mechanically, right? The autos aren't that clean because of the axe, so mechanically, this gets an 8 out of 10. There's nothing extra to it, so overall, Bioforge gets a 15 out of 25 as a skin, so pretty good, right? It's one of the old but gold skins, and it's definitely worth your money if you like the color green. Alright, we've got the crowd favorite, or one of the crowd favorites, Woad King Darius. Now this skin is an awesome skin, and I think overall it's the best bang for your buck. So if you don't have a lot of money, then get this skin, because for only 900 RP, it offers the most, right? So let's just get right into it. The model looks, admittedly, like it does look cool, right? But it looks kind of like, you know, he has no armor on, right? Which is not really the default thing for Darius, but you just fall in love with the skin when you play it, right? It looks a bit awkward when you look at it, but when you play it, it's awesome, right? So he gets all new effects for his, you know, abilities. He has new, like, he's just blue Darius, basically. The effect sound is like, God, English. The effect, you know, the 5 stack thing is blue, he glows blue, and he's got this nice frosty sort of Freljord thing. And the best thing about the skin is the sound he makes when you, like, kill people with your ult, right? If you actually listen, and I'll let you guys listen, it's such an awesome, like, violent stomping sound. It, like, feels like mountains are just cracking under you every time you ult people. So it's such an awesome skin, right? It gives new effects, it gives like new, like, you know, sounds of it, and it has an animation for the recall. So visuals wise, I think this skin is an 8 out of 10, so clearly one of the best skins, right? Mechanics wise, this skin shines because Woad King Darius has the best axe out of all the Darius skins. This axe makes auto attacking such like a nice thing to do, right? It feels so great to play with this skin, right? So clean, so nice, just like cancel your auto attack animations like butter. It's awesome. So, like, mechanically, Woad King is on par with default Darius. Now, he is a bit chunkier than default Darius, so like dodging things and moving is a bit more awkward, but your auto attacks are going to be better. So I'm giving like it the same score of like 9 out of 10, right? Woad King doesn't really have any extra points, so with 8 in visuals and a 9 in mechanics, Woad King gets a combined total of 17 points out of 25, which is very, very great, right? This skin is amazing, right? So if you don't have a lot of money to buy the God Kings or the High Noons, get this skin, because this is like the best bang for your buck. And if you're trying to learn Darius, it's the best trading skin, because the auto attacks on this are just great to train with. You guys are probably gonna eat me alive for what I have to say about this skin, but here it goes. Dunkmaster Darius isn't a very good skin compared to his other skins, and with the existence of God King, there's no reason to buy Dunkmaster anymore. So let's just get right into it. Visuals wise, this skin suffers from a very, very ugly model, right? Just like his model is so like horrible, and he just looks ugly, and like his face is weird, you know? It's just, the model is just so stupid, and like that just drags him down so much. As for effects, like the Q effect is a bit too bright for my taste, but it's meh. The sounds are great. That's one good thing about the skin. And yeah, that is pretty much it, right? It's like the skin is basically just you're getting it for the sound effects, right? It's got some of the best sound effects for Darius, but like the effects and the model aren't anything too special to be like, whoa, I've never seen that before, you know? So if you're a person who doesn't really like, you know, buy into the whole basketball dunk time meme, then you're not gonna like this skin. And I actually don't know of a single high elo player who likes this skin, so yeah. Dunkmaster gets a 5 out of 10 visual wise. Now, the main reason why high elo Darius players hate the skin is because of its mechanics. This skin has really bad mechanics, right? The first thing that's obviously bad, which I've talked about with the other Darius skins, is the shape of the axe. It's not an axe, it's just like a basketball hoop. And like in theory it's not bad, but you can't exactly tell when the axe actually hits the enemy too well, right? It's harder to like count, like it's hard to get the frame when the axe hits the enemy on the skin, right? The auto attacks are way worse on it. The E is also one of the worst E's on all Darius skins. It actually feels slower than the default one. The W is just kind of weird, honestly, but you can just cancel with Q, so I guess it doesn't matter. Like, the auto attacks are straight up worse than the default. The E is straight up worse, and there's nothing like mechanical that this skin offers us. And another bad thing is that it has its own animation base, okay? So something that God King and Dunkmaster suffer from is that they have their own animation base, whereas the other skins are on the default animation base. The default animation base is better mechanically. The auto attacks are better, the abilities are usually better, but because Dunkmaster is like, it's got its own animations, it's just gonna suck mechanically. The model also makes it really difficult to dodge. If you actually look at his walking animation, it's kind of jumpy, so just like dodging and making tiny movements is hard, and also his axe pull just sticks out randomly. So like, I really don't like playing Dunkmaster because the mechanics of it is just such like an inhibitor, you know? So yeah, I mean, just hate me if you want, but this is the truth, and I don't know, again, of a single high elo Darius player who actually likes this skin. So yeah, it's not just my opinion, it's like a well-known consensus, I guess, at this point. So mechanics wise, Dunkmaster Darius also gets a 4 out of 10. Now, this is the first thing that's going to get a lot of points in the extra department, because Dunkmaster Darius offers a lot of nice, clean chromas. The voice lines are also like something really cool too, like sit down, like it's also amazing. So he gets 4 out of the 5 extra points, but that's not really enough to save the skin in my eyes. So Dunkmaster Darius gets a 13 out of 25, which is a bit yikes, but it is what it is, right? So yeah, let's just go on to Academy before you guys rip my head off. Alright, so here is the Korean favorite Academy Darius. This skin is just like, it's exclusively used by the super high elo challenger Korean, you know, tryhard Darius players, just because of, you know, how great it is mechanically. But let's just get into the visuals first. Visually, it's straight up just ugly. I'm just gonna say it. It looks really bad. Like, there's basically nothing good about the skin except for, I guess, the baseball bat thing on the axe, which gives it like a post-apocalyptic feel. But like, visually, it's a 2 out of 10. But this skin is really saved by its mechanics, because it's the best mechanical Darius skin. The axe is nicely shaped. It's small. You can get really nice auto attacks off on it. And the best part, the model is actually very, very, like, you know, low profile. No cape, no armor, really, really thin. This skin is amazing for tiny micro movements to dodge things, to combo things, like, you know, really precisely. It's just an amazing skin. The pull is great, the W is great, the Q is good enough, you know. Like, this axe being smaller makes all the other abilities that rely on the axe's animation to be better as well. This is straight up the best mechanical Darius skin, and if all you care about is playing the best you can, this is a skin that you want to play. Now, because like there's a solid gap between this skin and all the other skins mechanics wise, I'm giving it an 11 out of 10, because it's just that good, right? In terms of extra points, there's nothing really extra to the skin. If you're just a sweaty tryhard, you go for this skin. As for an overall grade, Academy gets a 13 out of 10. So yeah. Oh, let's go to Dreadnova. All right, now we have Dreadnova Darius. Honestly, if you spent 10 gemstones on the skin, you got scammed, because this is probably like the worst Darius skin, because there's really nothing to save it, you know. Let's just take a look at the visuals and how the skin looks. Now, in terms of like the model, the skin is quite horrible, right? These jetpacks are just super weird. These pauldron kind of jet things he has are just awkwardly, like, just sticks out for no reason. Like, his model just looks super weird. His axe kind of looks cool, admittedly. Like, I like the, you know, the mechanical look of the axe itself, but the model just looks so weird. Like, there's a potential for this to be like an academy kind of low profile skin, but it's just kind of ruined, right? Now, the thing that's good about the skin is the sound effects, right? So let's just give it a cooldown. Like, just these sound effects, right? So, sound effects are super cool. This 5-stack effect, I actually love it so much. And the jetpacks start blowing, but it's honestly just a scam of a skin, because this is the sort of stuff you'd get from like a 900 RP skin, and you have to pay 10 gemstones for it. So it's like, I just don't like how you have to pay 10 gemstones for it, you know? So visually, I have to give this skin a 5 out of 10, okay? Now, mechanics wise, the skin is just really horrible. The model's awkward shape makes it so that like dodging things and moving around is really bad. And the axe, despite it looking cool, it's actually super thick. So the autos just feel like you're whacking someone with a hammer instead of like an actual blade. So like it's kind of weird to kind of count on the auto attacks properly. So I'm giving this mechanically a 4 out of 10. Okay, so overall this skin gets a 9 out of 25 because there's nothing extra to it, right? 9 out of 25. So yeah, don't get the skin unless you want to complete it, like unless you want to get like a complete collection of all Darius skins. Don't go for this skin, it's really bad. All right, here is possibly, or not possibly, definitely the best Darius skin. God King Darius. This skin is so awesome. The armor is amazing. It just looks so cool with these glowing crystals, the ornaments. Like this cape just fading into like the ground is so awesome. He's got this super sick like white, you know, anime like MMO boss battle sort of hairstyle. He just looks super cool, right? Like, and his voice lines are also sick. He's got fully redone voice lines. Like, the effects of this skin are just so sick. And like, I have to say, visually, God King is a tier above every single other skin, so I'm going to give it an 11 out of 10, right? Now, you guys might think that I'm gonna, you know, talk smack about the skin mechanically, but there's actually a weird thing about the skin. Now, the model being so massive makes it so that you can't dodge things too well, and, you know, that's a bit of an awkwardness, but the thing with God King Darius is that the E and the W are faster than default Darius. Like, no joke. The E is a few frames faster than normal Darius E, and so is the W, right? So the W and E on the skin are faster than normal Darius, which is just like crazy, right? So it's like, if you're already good with your auto attacks, okay, so you've trained your auto attacks on default Darius, you can pick up God King, and you know, you can kind of deal with the weird auto attacks that the skin has, and also make benefit of the E and the W, which are straight up just better because they're faster, right? The autos are a bit heavier and slower, but I think it's worth it for these two abilities being way better, right? Because it's literally faster. And yeah, that's just the crazy part about the skin. So mechanically, it's actually a 6 out of 10, which is like, you know, just crazy, right? Because such a, like, an overdone skin. These kind of overdone skins typically have horrible mechanics, but, you know, God King Darius doesn't. It's a great skin. Extras-wise, it's amazing, right? The voice lines are awesome. You know, like, the effects are awesome. He's got banners. He's got, like, you know, just everything about the skin is just so extra, and it's just so amazing, right? So, in terms of extras, I'm just going to give it, like, a 4 out of 5, you know, because just ulting someone and he's like, I win, you lose. It's like Dunkmaster, but without the whole basketball meme to it, right? So it's like, with this skin existing, there's no need for Dunkmaster to exist, so it's straight up the best Darius skin. And since it's Christmas, if you know a Darius player, this is the best gift to get, unless they already have it. Alright, let's get into the next skin, High Noon. The next skin we're going to take a look at is High Noon Darius. This skin is awesome, right? Like, visually, it's just amazing, right? This is one of the skins where, like, the first time, like, I heard about it, I was like, okay, this is just another, you know, champion forced into some random skill line I don't belong in. Like, it's gonna be awkward, right? But I actually looked at, like, the skin, and it is amazing, right? The whole fire stuff is awesome, the W is great, the E isn't too bad, and the effects are godlike. So if you actually look at it, in his Noxian Might effect, he has, like, fires coming out of his eyes, and it is such, like the whole fire thing makes him, like, look like some demon or something, you know? Like, I just absolutely love the 5-stack effect of High Noon. This skin is awesome for this. The ultimate looks awesome, the WQ, the whole fire stuff, it all looks amazing. And, like, I have to say, this is, like, quite an underrated skin, because with with God King out of the equation, High Noon is clearly the best Darius skin in terms of, like, the visuals. So, you know, if you don't count Dunkmaster, okay, let's just say after God King, this is the second best Darius skin. So I'm gonna give it visually a 9 out of 10. Okay, it's just amazing, right? Mechanically, right, it does have a few flaws, right? So the E leaves a trail, the Q is a bit, like, hard to see through. So if you're not too experienced on Darius, it's gonna be hard to land it. But, you know, it's not too detrimental. There's nothing that ruins the mechanics from the default Darius. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 for mechanics, you know. In terms of the extras, this is where the skin shines, because all the chromas for High Noon Darius are amazing. They're all just so sick. I actually have the super secret white sort of chroma that you can only get by grinding the missions when you bought the skin, and it is so awesome, right? Like, all the chromas are so sick on the skin that you can just go for, like, you know, the dark blue sort of sheriff look, the super red gold conductor, the mysterious purple, you know? It's like, all the chromas are awesome. So extras wise, this skin gets a 5 out of 5. It gets all the extra points because the chromas are just amazing. So if you have the money to drop, then this is it, right? This is the best, like, yeah, if you have all the money in the world to just switch between chromas from game to game, then you're gonna love this skin, right? So overall, High Noon gets a 21 out of 25, which ties it with God King, actually. So yeah, I absolutely adore this skin, and they also give him a beard. He's just like me. But jokes aside, this is an awesome skin, and I definitely recommend it if you get it in your shop menu. A very controversial skin, Lunar Beast. Now, there's a lot of hate directed towards this skin from me because I hate it. Anyway, okay, so Lunar Beast is a very weird skin because of just the idea being stupid and the execution being really dumb as well. So let's just look at the visuals, right? Now, some of the, like, you know, his, you know, golden metal Winter Soldier hand is cool. The axe is, I guess, alright. But if you actually look at the skin, it's just weird. First off, he has, like, I don't know why they beefed up, like, okay, normally Darius has armor, right? So Darius normally has armor on top of his skin. So they took away the armor because he has, like, a jacket in, right? And to keep his profile the same, they just beefed up his, like, body parts. So his shoulder is like a table, you know? It's just like that's not how a shoulder is. Shoulders are like this, but he's just got, like, a wide, you know, it's like you can drink tea on his shoulder, you know? It's just, I guess that's just a coat, but it just looks so weird. And he's got, like, some weird gamer trucker fingerless glove thing going on, you know? It's like, it's such a weird skin. And instead of giving it, like, the thin sort of low profile look like Academy, they kind of messed it up by just beefing up his body parts for no reason, you know? And his feet are super, super tiny compared to like the rest of his body. It just looks so weird, you know? He's also got like 2 croissants near his head. I don't know, those are supposed to be horns, I guess. They didn't give the homie the whole Kakashi fit, like with the hair, but I don't think that's enough to save this skin. So visuals wise, models, it's not looking that good. The effects are kind of cool, I guess, but it's just not Darius, man. This is not Darius. It's just way too light, way too, you know, like jokey. It's like, it's way too like, okay. Darius usually has the whole hulking sort of metal, like alpha sort of look. You know, if you actually look at like Riot doing that New Dawn animation, like the behind the scenes, they talk about how Darius, they give him like the sort of hard metallic noises to really give him weight and just, you know, strength behind him. This doesn't have any of that, right? This is just too light, too like it's not like a, it's like a bing, you know, if that makes sense. I guess I'm just making random noises at this point. So it's like, the skin doesn't really go along with Darius well at all, and all the effects are basically just, you know, not even that good, honestly, right? It's like, it's way too light, nothing's like too substantial. So visuals wise, I gotta give this skin a 5 out of 10. Mechanics wise, another 5 out of 10. Like, the model is just weird, and like, this is a personal gripe, maybe it's a 6 out of 10, but I hate this axe. Okay, I guess this is a personal thing. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because, like, I just hate this axe. Like, the E is so horrible with this axe. Like, and also, if you actually look at it, the area is not what, like, the actual hitbox is, which is also weird. But yeah, the shape of the axe is not like an actual, like, one-sided axe. It's more like a mace at this point, you know? So it's like, I just don't like this axe at all. But that's just a personal thing, so I'll give this a 6 out of 10 mechanically. As for the extras, there's not really any extra voice effects, but there's a lot of chromas. So if you really like the whole croissant Kakashi look, then just get the chromas, I guess. But yeah, I would say only like 2 or 3 of the chromas are actually good. The rest are all just kind of doo-doo, so yeah. Overall, this skin gets a 14 out of 25, and that's just because of the chromas, by the way. So, like, the purple yellow chroma, if you just get that, it does look super, super cool, but I wouldn't really recommend this skin at all. It's honestly just a waste of money. So yeah, let's just go to the next skin. Alright, so last but maybe the least is Crime City Darius. This skin is really, really, really just weird. Like, there's no other way of putting it. This skin is just weird. So in terms of the model, the feet are way too massive. But that's fine, but his hand is like he can hold his entire head with his like hands. He's got like this, like, you know, if you can hold your face with your hand, like that joke you would do to your friends, but it actually, you know, he can hold his entire head with one hand. It's actually just crazy. His face is also kind of like weirdly shaped, because normally Darius is like more of a blocky sort of muscular sort of head, but this is like kind of like a long horse facey. His hair just is like purple pink for some reason. Okay, I guess SJW Darius. I like the whole suit kind of thing he's got going, classy, but I don't know, man. This skin is just way too much of a mutant-y thing model wise. And honestly, it looks okay, but the one thing that ruins it is this, you know, this fur. If you actually look at like the fur on set or whatever, it actually dangles. It has gravity, but not this. The fur just sticks out. And it does not move, so it just looks super weird when you move with him, right? It completely ruins like his sort of like his form, you know? It's just like, if it just like fell down at least on his coat and stayed there, it would be good, but it just sticks out like one of those like those English poet sort of plate things they have around their necks. So models wise, it looks a bit weird. Abilities wise, it looks pretty okay, honestly. There's nothing too special. The ult effect is a bit okay, but like, I have to turn up the sounds to like the maximum for you to actually hear this. The point I'm trying to make here is that all the sounds are like low and like grumbly, like Like, that's all of the sounds. So you can barely hear any of the effects when you're actually in like a team fight. So it's like Woad King, you ult kill someone and you really hear that ground crumbling, like mountain splitting like sound. You hear it. But this, it's like you hear the, you know, that part, like you hear that kind of slash sound and you don't really hear any of the other part because of like a busy team fight, right? The skin looks like okay in isolation, but when you play with it, you realize that nothing's noticeable. Nothing's like popping out. Nothing's special. It's just boring, and like they kind of forced him into something that he didn't really fit that well into, like High Noon. But unlike High Noon, the execution is just really horrible because it's like I feel like this skin is made by people who don't play Darius, you know? Because the W, like if you actually do it like slowly, looks cool, right? But if you do it in the middle of a combo, like, just look at his hand. It's like the spikes just come out and they instantly retract, you know? It's just like, it's just done by people who don't play Darius. Visuals-wise, I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Mechanics-wise, I'm going to have to give it a 5 out of 10 because, like, the whole model thing just ruins his movement. The axe is really weird. His auto attacks are super bizarre, actually. Like, his axe doesn't actually touch the target. He just gets, like, an effect on the target, which is weird. So, yeah. The chromas, though, are really, really cool, though, right? That's where this skin is kind of saved. Because some of the chromas, like the one where it's like black and red, I'll show a picture of it, is just awesome, right? So, like, some of the chromas legitimately save this skin because a different color palette on this skin is just awesome. You know, just the whole pink purple thing doesn't really fit Darius at all, but they just keep, you know, putting it on for some reason. But yeah, yeah. So overall, for the extras, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5, and the total score is 15. So 2 points higher than Lunar Beast, and it's again saved by its chromas. Overall, though, I'd say like if you kind of like the voice, also I'm giving it a high extra score because of like the voice. He does get a new sort of voice filter. Like he's got like a demonic sort of villain voice, which is I guess cool, which is why I'm giving it 4 instead of 3. So yeah. If you like the skin, you should get it, but if you need like a recommendation on whether to get the skin or not, I would say don't bother. Go for High Noon, because High Noon is infinitely better than this skin, unless you kind of like the whole mutant look. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this video, because we're done with all of the skins. The best skin, obviously, is God King Darius. Amazing visuals, a lot of cool extra stuff, the dog is awesome. And it's also got, like, pretty decent mechanics, actually. So it is actually playable by high-ranked players. So God King, definitely great skin. As for a skin that's underrated, but also just amazing, it's High Noon. High Noon is actually such a great skin. And best part about it is that it's on the default animation base. So, you know, you're going to do all your combos or your mechanics or your auto attacks perfectly on High Noon. And also have all these awesome effects and all these chromas. So High Noon is definitely an amazing skin if you have the money to get all the bundles and stuff. If you're low on cash, but you really need a solid bang for your buck skin, then Woad King is your go-to, because Woad King is amazing. It's got perfect auto attacks, it's got really cool effects, and the sounds are just great. If you're a super tryhard who just wants to be the best they can be, then Academy is your go-to, because Academy has undoubtedly the best mechanics out of all Darius skins. There's not a comparison, okay? It's straight up the best. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.